The International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia is now in session. L'audience du Tribunal Penal International pour l'ex-Yougoslavie est ouverte.
They want somebody to be guilty.
Yes, we get the point.
Unfortunately, they want my client to be guilty.
Start again, Mr. Milosevic.
The prosecution is very eager to diminish the responsibility of other players.
Your Honor, is this really relevant?
We'll see.
Thank you.
We are faced with so many lies in Hague. Completely unnecessary lies.
Prodao neki trač koji ste vi ovdje upotrebili i tog čovjeka uopšte niste vidjeli. Da li ste vi ikad bili uopšte na kontroli?
I'm not for.
Ich spreche immer von einer CNN-Wahrheit, die es gibt über die Balkankriege.
I'll never forget that front page of Newsweek.
It was absolutely false.
Als ich das gesehen habe, dass der Stacheldraht auf der Seite von den bosnischen Muslimen war.
We live in a visual world. The graphics.
We have not yet seen evidence of his planning or ordering ethnic cleansing, let alone genocide.
It was more a comment. Continue, Mr. Milosevic.
Slobodan Milosevic staat terecht voor het Joegoslavië-tribunaal in Den Haag. Hij wordt verantwoordelijk gehouden voor misdaden tegen de mensheid en volkerenmoord. In deze zaak wordt onze kijk op de oorlog en misdaden in Joegoslavië beslist. Iemand moet tenslotte verantwoordelijk zijn. Voor vrijwel iedereen spreekt het vanzelf dat Milosevic verantwoordelijk is. Voor Jacques-Paul Klein is het ook helder. Klein heeft namens de Verenigde Naties tijdens de oorlog meerdere malen onderhandeld met Milosevic en is later betrokken geweest bij arrestaties van oorlogsmisdadigers. Wat hij zegt, dacht eigenlijk iedereen wel toen het proces begon.
The first thing we do is diplomacy, dialogue, negotiation, trying to find common ground, whatever it takes to avoid violence. Now, however, there comes a time when you meet in the world the psychopath, the pathological killer, who understands none of those things. For him, every beau geste on your part is a sign of weakness, and he only pushes harder. And that's when you need what I call the surgeon. You need force. But you need a surgeon who has a wonderful set of hands, between about 30 and 50, and if he cuts well and cleanly, he does minimum tissue, nerve, and muscle damage, and the patient heals. If you argue over who the surgeon is going to be, whose medical instruments are we going to use, who the anesthesiologist is going to be, where we're going to operate, the patient's lingering, the patient's being infected, and the patient may eventually die. And quite often, it is the failure to take action when you know you have no other choice. But even then there are people who disagree and just do not see that these are psychopaths and pathological killers that you're dealing with.
In your analogy, Milosevic would be...
Very much so.
The psychopath.
Oh yeah, very much so. The essence of evil.
Maar na ruim 1,5 jaar is de aanklager nog altijd bezig zijn zaak rond te krijgen. En sommigen die het proces volgen verbazen zich steeds meer over de loop ervan.
Es wird fieberhaft daran gearbeitet, immer wieder neue Zeugen herbeizuschaffen, weil eben die alten offensichtlich nicht gereicht haben, diese Wahrheit, die da vertreten wird oder die bewiesen werden soll, zu bekräftigen. Und es wird auch fieberhaft daran gearbeitet, Zeugen so aus dem Inneren, aus dem Umfeld Milosevics zum Beispiel herbeizuholen. Und man hat ein gutes Beispiel, wie so etwas schief gehen kann, nämlich Kapitan Dragan.
Your Honor, the prosecution now calls Mr. Dragan Vasilkovic.
Kapitein Dragan zat volgens eigen zeggen ergens in Afrika toen de oorlog in Joegoslavië uitbrak. Het Kroatisch leger verdreef de Servische bevolking uit de Krajina.
Let the witness take the declaration.
Kapitein Dragan verzamelde een legertje paramilitairen om zich heen en schoot in enkele maanden de Kroaten weer weg uit de Krajina. De aanklager hoopt nu dat Dragan zal zeggen dat hij dit deed onder het gezag van Belgrado, want dan is Milosevic verantwoordelijk. En in dat geval is het centrale punt van de aanklacht, de commandolijn, bewezen. Could you maybe introduce yourself to us?
If I bow like this, hello, my name is so and so and so. Come on. Ask me a question and I answer it for you. On the day of Milosevic's arrest, I was contacted by an investigator, and they asked me if I was willing to help in bringing some war criminals to trial, which of course I did, because I honestly believed that I had nothing to hide, and there was no reason to hide that I'm dealing with some honest people who are trying to track down some war criminals, and I think that everybody has obligation in helping in tracking down war criminals.
If you'd like to take a seat.
How was it to be vis-à-vis to Milosevic?
Well, there was a mixed feelings, a very unusual feelings. You know, when you're sitting across a man, you know, I have to admit, there were the times when I plotted his assassination. You know, he was the only man on this planet that I have plotted assassination against. Because I felt it was just too much, you know, after 10 years of what we had over there. So you're sitting across a man that you wanted to see dead. He avoided looking at me, and I could see that he wasn't really pleased to see me down there. Basically, what got me very suspicious is that they gave me this piece of paper where they said that anything that I might say cannot be used against me. So then I said, okay, Jesus Christ, if I'm a murderer, if I'm a, you know, oh, I can say, okay, I'm a war criminal, I have killed so many, you know, there is no evidence of that, or I don't know, I buried it, I ate it, whatever it is, and he made me do that, they cannot use that against me. But I would use my statement as the evidence against Milosevic. So I said, listen, I don't want to sign that because I don't need your protection. And I feel very responsible for everything that I say and everything that I've done.
Kakva je to vrsta? Ja ne znam to, šta je to?
Okay. This is to confirm that, confirm a commitment on the part of a prosecutor that any conversation or statement you will make during the course of your preparation to testify as a witness in the case of prosecutor versus Milosevic will not be used against you.
Dobro, to je također interesantno. Ja mislim da je dobro da javnost ima uvid i u takve akte ove tamo strane koju vi nazivate tužilaštvom. Sve što se ovdje izjavi protiv mene ne može se upotrebiti protiv onoga koji izjavi. Gospodine May, ja želim da skrenem vašu pažnju da je da ova strana preko puta drži svedoka pod šifrom, da ga drži zaštićeno, da bi mi onemogućila prikupljanje činjenica, a svedok tvrdi da nikada nije tražio nikakvu zaštitu i da nikada nije tražio da bude anoniman svedok. Ja mislim da je to...
Just a moment. Now, Mr. Nice, if I can address you on this subject. The accused is right, and it's not the first time. There have been other witnesses during this trial. Now, this really is a matter of concern.
There was one word that made the whole thing sort of look different. And we were talking about the volunteers, and I said, listen, I don't believe that anyone could have participated in this war without being under a command of a secret service, police, or a military. You just couldn't show up there with the guns and say, okay, you know, and I was saying that Milosevic continuously saying that volunteers were just, you know, nobody had control over them or whatever. I don't believe that. And I said, if he said that, he is a liar. Because every participant down there had to be under command of a secret service, police, or a... So when where the problem actually was is that they interpret that as a secret service of Serbia And continuously I talked about the Kraina, because I was in the service of a secret service of Kraina. And later on I was in the service of a military of Kraina, of the army of Kraina. And so when they asked me to clarify what secret service, I said Kraina.